Hello everyone and welcome to another TrickingBasics.com tutorial. Today we're going over the 540, quite a popular trick. It's a bit harder than it looks, but far from impossible. It's a tornado kick where you land hypered, meaning you land on the kicking leg. So here's what it looks like. Alright, great. So in slow motion, you want to wind up, have a cheat takeoff, and the first half is just like a tornado kick. So you want to jump, lift, execute the kick, and then turn your hips downwards so that you land on your kicking leg. Alright, so let's go over step by step how that's done. So just like in a tornado kick, you want to start with a cheat takeoff. You want to jump, set, fully extend your body, your jumping leg, execute the kick, twist the hips, and that will allow your kicking leg to reach the ground. It helps to lean back a little bit on this kick, but that's something to play with. So you want to have a nice high set, execute the kick, I'd say a bit later than in a tornado kick. I see a lot of people rushing through the 540. And then when the kick's executed, you want to twist your knees downwards, turn your knees downwards so that your hips get down facing the ground after the kick. Because that makes it much easier to land hypered, to land the 540. So you jump, set, kick, and twist, landing on your kicking leg. So here it is one more time. Alright, so let's go over some progressions for this. A good one is having a strong tornado. It's a good prerequisite. Highly recommend it. The idea is if you kick your tornado hard enough, you should be able to land hypered. Now this does work, but you want to make sure that you are kicking a round kick. You're not kicking vertically, you're kicking across if you are going for this progression. How your 540 looks in the end is up to you. But start by doing a tornado, landing on both feet. Once you can do that, it also helps to try a tornado with like an extra twist at the end, whether you land it or not. It just helps you get your hips over so that you can land hypered and get the feeling down for the last half twist that you need to get. Once you can do that, play around with that, work on the twist and landing on both feet, and then it should be easy enough to land one foot. Just think about kicking across when you do that. The next progression I have for you, I think it's really helpful, is doing a 540 without executing the kick. So it's kind of like a chambered 540, right? So you see what I'm doing here is I'm doing a 540, but I'm not actually executing the kick because getting that kick out there is pretty tough. But keeping both your knees bent while doing a 540 is much easier. It teaches you how to take off properly and land properly and get the twist down. Once you get comfortable with that, try straightening the leg like I just did there. And once you're comfortable with that, raise the kick up just a bit. Then you'll have essentially a 540 from here. And once you get comfortable with that, you can execute a full round kick. And there you go, 540. So the next progression I have for you is what I call the leg hop. You see what I just did there? Now what I did is I jumped over my leg. I didn't twist. I didn't do this twisty thing like right there. I didn't do that. What I'm trying to do is put my leg out, keep it there while I jump over it, right? So that's the idea. If you can do that, that is the same more or less feeling for a 540. You see what I did here was I tried to actually throw a round kick, essentially do a standing 540, because this is what this progression is. If you can do a standing 540 and then have it from a cheat setup, you have a proper 540. It also helps to combine this with the chambered progression that I taught you earlier. The last progression I have for you is learning how to do a round kick hyper. Okay, so just doing a round kick and then landing on it. It's really easy, but what it does is it teaches you the second half of the 540. So if you're comfortable with this, and you can do, if you add a cheat setup to the beginning of this, it's a 540. So if you're having trouble in particular landing this trick, play with this progression. I think it's really helpful. And you see what I'm doing here is I'm doing, I guess you could call it a rapid 540. I'm doing a cheat takeoff, then switching my legs, executing a round kick, and then landing hyper. So it's like a 540 with a step in the middle. Once you're comfortable with that, throw a 540. Now on to some issues I see with the 540. A lot of people rush the 540 trying to get the kick out really early. What this is going to do is it's going to make you kind of like meat leg the trick. You don't want to do that. You want to have a nice clean high 540. Kicking too early is going to kill your height. It's going to lean you back and put all the weight on one leg, and you don't want that. You want to set nice and high so that you can land comfortably. 540s should not hurt when you land them. Okay, so the way you're going to fix this is you need to jump, set, and wait for the kick. I know that might be a little bit scary, but you need to have a really high tornado before you go for 540. If you have a low tornado like I just did there, it's going to make your 540 not very good. You want to jump, set, wait, kick, and then worry about the twist on the way down. Okay? Kicking too early is just disastrous for the 540. So see what I did there? I jumped, I wait, executed my kick, and then twisted on the way down. So you want to continue your twist. You don't want to stop as the kick happens. So continue the twist with the, during the takeoff and after the kick. Okay. Next progression I have. The next problem that I see is kicking upwards. And this is fine. Personally, I kick upwards quite a bit. But if you want to fix this, you need to learn how to twist your hips downwards towards the ground so that you can land comfortably. If you have a very vertical kick in your 540, it's going to require you to twist more. So that's why I like teaching it as a round kick, because a round kick kicks across, and so it naturally turns your hips over. Okay, so just keep that in mind. The more vertical you kick, the more twist you'll have to twist on the way down. I know that the 540 looks like one continuous movement kind of kick, but to me it feels like two distinct movements. I'm executing a tornado kick, and then I twist at the end. Okay, it looks like one big kick, but to me, I jump, set, kick, and then worry about the twist. Okay, so if you're kicking upwards, I would recommend trying to kick across, so that it's easier to turn your hips downwards so that you can land the 540. Okay, so if you watch here, watch my knees. All right, so I kick here, right? Now I've got to point my knees downwards, and what that does, if I turn my knees, naturally that's going to put my hips facing the ground so that it's easier for me to land. And the last issue I come across is not twisting enough, executing an inside crescent kick, and you can execute an inside crescent kick, but I think that's much harder for beginners to learn because it stops your momentum more so. It stops your hips from twisting more so than a round kick. Okay, so if you're having problems twisting, if you're having problems landing facing away from your target, worry about your takeoff. You want to have a nice strong takeoff. Check out my spotting video that explains where you should be spotting for kicks like this. And after the kick, you want to continue the twist. So you don't want to stop your twisting momentum. You want to keep twisting throughout the entire trick. Alright, well that is my 540 tutorial. I hope it helped, guys. Here's some angles for you to help you out some more. Rolling up my pant leg so that you can see, I guess, where my leg is going. Whatever. Anyways, 540 tutorial, bunch of different angles. Hope it helped. Take care.